All right, welcome folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. This is going to be our sit rep for Wednesday, February 9th, 2022, coming to you from the great state of Texas. It is about high noon. And man, the red horse rides. This is what a time to be alive. Some crazy stuff going on out there. So without further ado, let's jump on over to our board. We're sitting at about 462 aircraft up, which is average is about 250, so to kind of give you a feel for what's going on there. Now, just from the flat Earth standpoint, let me jump over here to Skyglass because we're going to actually peel this onion a little bit as we get into it. Now, you may have seen yesterday, I reported on there a little bit of a lull. I don't know what was going on, but we had a gap in reconnaissance over the Ukraine and over Europe, which is a little unusual, and I'm not sure what was going on, to be honest with you. We see it coming back again today. But we also know that the Soviets are actually doing some naval exercises in the Black Sea right now, which is pretty much provoking things to the next level. And so it looks like they're getting ready to pop. I'm telling you, I just can't see Putin standing down on this. I really can't. He is kind of like Trump. You mess with him and he's going to basically show you exactly, you know, mess with the bull, you get the horns, right? So all right, so this, I just want to show you real fast. I'm going to do a refresh in a minute, but I had caught all of this and I wanted to hold it right where it was. Up right now, there are 6 R-135s up. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this one right here that says Warhawk 01, that is actually a nuke sniffer. So it's a WC-135, which means it's out running routes, taking air quality samples, similar to our little small sniffer helicopter, right? But this is at a different level. And so that one's a little unique, different than the others, okay? But I'm just going to bounce through so you guys can see. We got this Triple R. That's going to be a UK R-135 out running some routes. Just kind of back up a little bit, give you a reference. This is going to be the United Kingdom here. Down here is Italy, and then Ukraine and everything's out over this way. But this is over here, you're going to have Poland and things like that, okay? All right, now that's that one. Now we go over here to Shiner. We've got this one, Shiner 40, that's up in the United States, along with the other nuke sniffer. We got Snoop 45, which is, I'm not sure if this one actually came back from, there was one, and it was Snoop 45, at least the call sign was Snoop 45. That had actually gone over to Japan in that area. So I don't know, that'd be a lot of flying. So maybe it's just the same call sign. I do have it listed as my favorite now, so I can actually track it by the hex code and not just the call sign, okay? Now, Jake 11, again, over here in this general area, Italy down here, running some routes. We'll look at that one closer here in just a minute. Python 53. Running some routes down here in this general area. Now remember yesterday in our quick pop-up sit rep, we talked about the movement of troops into the Middle East. And so down here in the UAE and Qatar, it looks to be, and as well as Kuwait, actually looks to be kind of going hot right now in terms of troops moving into that area. I can't see them supporting this whole Ukraine thing out of that general region, but they may. It just seems like a little bit of a stretch. Especially with the stuff going on down in Yemen. I think this support down in here is probably going to be Yemen related, if I had to guess, okay? And then, of course, this one here, we got the Maverick 02, which is another, but that's 4 in the United States right now, out running routes, okay? Remember, these are spy birds, for those not familiar with that. Also, the WC one, a little different, that's a sniffer, okay? So that's looking for nuke stuff. Okay, let me squeeze this down just a tad and hide my list of stuff flying. I do want to show you, this is current, actually let me hit a refresh on this. But we've got current aircraft up over the United States. As you can see, do a little refresh. It's pretty busy. This is probably the busiest I've seen it in quite some time. I have 443 showing. Now keep in mind, we don't have any masks showing. I took those off. And so we're not really looking at the masked aircraft, although there are some NAs in there, 48 NAs to be exact, but those are military NAs, which just means they have no call sign, okay? Now, let's see here. I just want to make sure Let me change the map content too, because I see some people actually in the chat talking about kind of hard to see because it's so dark. So for me, because I'm colorblind, I kind of go with the dark maps because it allows me to really kind of see the contrast a little better. But anyway, so this, I go with a little bit of a blue map. You can see the black out here is water, but this is the United States. Now, if we look at just H-60s, we got 20 H-60s up. We look at the gunships, we add another 3, so we're 23 when it comes to that. Now, this is the one that really gets me. This is a tanker activity that's up over the United States. Quite a bit of tanker, which would indicate we've got probably a fair amount of aircraft that are up for an extended period of time, or a lot of fighters, okay? And so, and then let's take away the tankers. And let's just look at, we got 3 C5s up, which is kind of unusual, but I think that's pulling a couple from abroad. C5M, another C5. Let's get into the let me just double check here. C-130s and then C-17s. So combined 41. So we're sitting at about 50 heavy lift aircraft up, okay, roughly. And you can see coast to coast, very, very busy today. We'll come back to this here at the end. Let me bounce back over here and we'll just kind of show you kind of get a better idea here, because you can really, look and see the aircraft type on this, which is a little more helpful. But like I said, almost 50 heavy movers. Now we do have our normal congestion running up in the middle here. A lot of trainers. I think there's about 100 trainers up today, that's pretty high. Okay. Now, we were talking about that WC. It's called a Constant Phoenix. We saw one of these just go over to the UK recently. And so, like within the last week, and I think we had a secondary going there too. So there's a lot of concern right now about nukes worldwide. So it's not just here in the US, but worldwide, okay? Now we get over to Flashbang Schedule. I'll just show you. This knucklehead is still pushing the Build Back Better thing. I just don't get it. It's a major flop. He's a major flop. So, but anyway, I guess if they just want to keep him busy peddling around in the White House, puttering around, sorry. I just wonder if he's got his pants on. Probably not. He's probably playing Candy Crush most of the day, and somebody just points him in the right direction and says, go into this room for an hour. We'll be back to get you. So, but there is that. Okay. Now, the next thing, I do just find it interesting, given the world situation, that he's not having meetings talking about, at least public meetings, talking about what's going on in the Ukraine. So also, I would like to add, if you notice, the U.S. pushed out a big thing talking about the fact that they're expecting some type of a terrorist attack, whether it's right-wing insider, or if it's all of these poppies that they just brought into the country. But they are really focusing on that right now. So I think we're really, primed for a false flag. And I do find that interesting that when we start talking about Russia conducting a false flag event to pop this whole thing off, when it's probably really us, because we do that better than most people. So, okay. Now let's get over here to this one. This is actually Red Eye. This is going to be one of your Joint Stars, E-8 Joint Star. This aircraft actually is awesome at basically jumping into a battlefield situation and really assessing and grabbing everything. It's one of, if you can see here, it's a total weapon system in terms of reconnaissance and surveillance. And so Joint Star stands for Joint Surveillance Target Attack Radar System. So it's a J-Star also is kind of the known for. So, but that bad dude, when it flies over a combat area, man, it maps out everything. It is, it's insane. So keep in mind that the Russians are out here playing naval war right now. And so they are also up in Belarus. They just went hot up there with launching live fire rounds. So they are certainly ready to roll. This is probably just greasing the skids and warming up the engines before they go hot, okay? But anyway, this general area, so that kind of tells you the fact that they are kind of hanging in that general area, that's probably where the Soviets are running their exercises, or somewhere in this general region, okay? Now, if we get over here to, let's see, let's just kind of show you what I'm talking about. So Russia sends 6 warships into the Black Sea for naval drills. Again, dude's not messing around, man. And I think he's certainly not scared of our administration and our generals. So I don't know that anybody is, except for probably we the people, right? So, but anyway, so this is that general area where he's hanging out. You can see there are some tankers in the region. These red with the arrows are tankers actually moving. These greens are cargo ships. Blue's a passenger vessel. So the Black Sea is still kind of pretty active, right? So it doesn't look to me like they're too worried about stuff out here at the moment. Of course, it's a pretty big area. So, and then again, you see we got little tugs and crafts up here because there are waterways that kind of reach all the way in, just kind of similar to our U.S. stuff around the White House, right? You get stuff that rolls all the way up waterway wise. So, okay, now yesterday we were talking about the recon aircraft. Hopefully my screen will come back here in just a second. FlightAware is pausing. But we were talking about all the recon activity just kind of subsiding yesterday, as well as the additional troop movements into different regions. And so we're going to go into a little more detail on that right now. Okay, so this is Brio 68. Again, this is not an R-135. It's actually a smaller footprint aircraft. Little twin engine, but super duper, high tech. Okay, it's a spy craft really, but it's a manned spy craft. Okay, so this one, as you can see, they're all the way out here to the corner. This is the Black Sea, Ukraine, Belarus. This is Poland up in here. Okay, and so you can see them doing routes today, looking at that area again. So they are continuing to pick back up. Yesterday was a down day for everything, which was, I thought, really strange. So now this is Jake 11, not Jake from State Farm, but Jake 11, right? And so the interesting thing is I have now captured this from the hex code perspective because I found that there were some discrepancies. This one is showing as an R-135, but then again I had ones over here in the US that just came back from that area showing as a tanker, which is a air refueler, right? So go figure. All right. So anyway, this one just landed 10 minutes ago back in the UK, but you can see same kind of deal, right? Poland up here, and so Black Sea. This is Ukraine, so they're actually mapping out activity in the Ukraine there, which is pretty good, man. Good on them, right? I mean, just going straight on in. All right. Now, this is going to be the Royal flights. These are all of the aircraft that are the UK. It's called the Royal Air Force Transports, or ASCOT. Now, I'm just going to show you some of the locations they are moving to or coming out of. And I thought it very interesting because it's a data point. That's all I can say, data point. All right. But notice you got them coming out of Tampa and MacDill, and we're coming out of Nellis. They're coming out of a red flag mission. I don't really know. But then you've got them over here in Islamabad, Brunei, a lot of different areas. So they're kind of running amok, right? So remember yesterday we talked a little bit about the U.S. coming into this general area. The Philippines is one that's kind of hot right now, right? You've got stuff going on down there in Myanmar. And so it looks like they've got some activity going down here for the UK. All right, again, probably a NATO thing. And then these planes are coming out more than likely. This is this region right here. Again, I saw it yesterday, troops moving in. But this is kind of an interesting thing. So again, these are all data points. It is interesting because we are really crowdsourced and crowdfunded, right? And so when people are looking at this data, there are those out there that actually are privy to certain data, and this just connects the dots for them. So I do get people coming to me with a lot of different things, and like we looked at the trains yesterday, right? There was somebody that showed right behind their house, right up there by Fort Lawson Woods, Missouri, these trains rolling by with a bunch of equipment on it, more than likely going to the sandbox, right? And so it's just data points like that that really make this community so much different than anything else. So, okay, that's going to be the UK. Now let's look at what's going on with the Camber Flights. This is going to be U.S. Transportation Command. It looks like we've got planes coming back. I don't know what this one's doing all the way up top here, but that just a interesting data point there. Kind of way north of everybody else. But that's a 777-200. It looks like this one here is a 767-300 and 767-300 here as well. Again, this one's probably rolling into the region. Also, keep in mind that up in Libya, the Soviets have a very big presence. Like they jumped into Benghazi, and they've got a runway and a full operation in 2 locations up there. They've loaded surface-to-air missiles in, so they've got the S-300s, I think, not the 400s there. But they've got a pretty big presence, command presence there in Libya now. So got to kind of just keep that in mind as well as we're looking at all this troop movement stuff, okay? And again, the troop movement I'm showing you, I'm not going into detail. Like I said, most of this doesn't really give you a proper destination on where they're going. We just see an airplane on the map, and we know that it is headed somewhere, right? So now, here's the other piece too. Remember, I was just telling you, the UK just landed some folks down here in the Indonesia type of area, Philippines, that kind of thing. This is a bird coming into Guam from, looks like it's coming out of Hickam Air Force Base. But just wanted to point that out. This is a bird coming in here. More than likely, it's going to go into one of these regions. It may be Okinawa or somewhere in Japan. Could be down south in the Philippine side. So, but again, it looks like we are on multiple fronts right now, including the U.S. We do see a lot of movement. We're seeing and hearing rumors about missile defense systems within the United States. We see nuke movements within the United States. And then, of course, we see, troops going left, troops going right. So very thin, spreading ourselves very thin. It's not a good situation to be in, but I have a feeling this prep over here in this region, as soon as the Olympics are over, China's probably going to go hot on Taiwan, excuse me, and that will change the theater and where we're going. So having assets in that region is probably going to be a smart move, at least in advance, if we're beefing things up over there. So that's a good thing. This piece over here with Yemen, that's tied to Iran. That's the Houthis and the rebels, right? I think that's how you say it. I don't know, but nonetheless, it looks like we're over there as well now, getting ready to support that effort, and then overcommitted within the Europe-NATO alliance. So I think the big thing we got to watch for here is how committed we are and how much involvement we have with NATO, because if all we do is sanctions and we support the NATO piece and we don't really start firing live shots at the Russians, we may be okay in this. We may get away with a cyber attack or two. But if we go in live fire and we're leading the pack like we did in Desert Storm, then it's going to get ugly for us, right? Because I imagine Russia will come after here domestically in the United States. It won't just be a Europe regional thing, okay? So that's just something we need to consider. So, all right, let's look out here at Biggs Army Airfield. I just want to show you from that standpoint too, the flight activity coming in. Now, we do have some SPA aircraft coming in from Tucson. Last time we saw this, they went up to Minnesota. I had someone reach out to me who has an asset in the military up there, and they were actually bringing folks back into the country that had just been on a really long deployment. So that's how that was tied to. It was not poppies, so that is actually a good thing. But we do have this one departing, headed to Pope. That's Fayetteville, North Carolina, or right there by Fort Bragg. Outbound, that's an Airbus. That's going to be national cargo. Of course, that's carrying troops. I'll bet my life on it. And this one here headed over to Fargo, North Dakota. That's going to be one of the SPA flights. Now we get down here to the bottom SPA flight that's headed back up to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Now the question is, are there more folks coming back inbound from a long deployment and they're going up there to get them? Or are we putting assets in play there now? So, and then we've got this one here, this Omni that's coming in from Fort Worth Alliance today around 4 p.m. So, yeah, definitely troops. 1,000% on the Omnis, okay? Okay, let's get over here to Kiev. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on. Now, remember, we were talking, the board is definitely starting to shrink down. I'm not seeing the mass amount of flights that are going in and out of there now. What I am starting to see are evac flights. So it looks like countries are starting to bubble in, pull their folks out. We got another flight here that's coming out of there. That's going to be a UK flight. And then let me just double check on these. These don't look like they are, yeah, these are all commercial flights right there. So, but it looks like the UK is still pulling some stuff out of that area. Now, yesterday we did see some US flights. We did see a couple of French flights, things of that nature going in and out of that location. So again, it looks like they are starting to pull folks out, okay? Now we get over here to the UK, or sorry, the Ukraine, the general region. We're just to look at the commercial flows, all right? And I just want to point out one thing that is glaringly obvious here as you look at Belarus is got no flights. Ukraine, nothing. This place, just look at it. You can see the flows. They're avoiding this place like the plague, which is a pretty good sign that the airlines are still continuing to stay out of the region. And it's probably because they know there are S-300 and 400 missile systems in there, which are surface-to-air missile systems designed to take down aircraft, okay? So that's probably why. Nobody needs that right now, okay? Or ever, for that matter. Okay, now let's get over here to the Department of Justice, the FBI. I just wanted to show you, landed 20 hours ago out of DC, went to Wichita, Kansas. So just a heads up, you've got a party going on here. And I just want to let you know that's where they dropped a team. That was on a Tuesday, which is a little bit interesting. What's interesting is it actually was out here in Las Vegas too, 23 hours ago. So it looks like it went DC out to Vegas, then from Vegas back into Wichita. So maybe two teams, I don't know, but you got stuff, assets in Vegas, assets in Wichita. All right, now over to Guantanamo Bay because we don't want to lose sight of this one. One thing I will tell you, we did have another flight out of sequence. You can see the board is clear today. Nothing really on it, at least nothing we're seeing that is on it. But we did have this one come in. It was a B-190, which is a Beechcraft, I say 190. That's the type it calls on this, but it's actually a Beechcraft 1900, which is a little twin turboprop aircraft. We'll take a closer look at that in just a second, but it's CSI Aviation, or Sandia, coming out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, or at least the company is. We did have an Air Transport International come in from Norfolk yesterday. That's normal. And same thing with this, this little flight here, the C560. That one is kind of doing the round robins. Tuesday, Friday flights, kind of a normal thing, okay? But you do see, again, National Cargo right here coming from Biggs Army Airfield on Saturday, which means they just got some more troop replens, okay? Now, we look at this aircraft closer. This is actually the one that bumped into Guantanamo Bay out of sequence. It looks to me, as I'm looking and researching the company, to be a medical evac flight, okay? Came out of Lauderdale, landed here, and then from there, you can see it left Guantanamo Bay, went to Palm Beach. The interesting thing, this doesn't show it, was that there was a diversion in that flight when it flew, and it actually landed out here somewhere and then came in, even though it shows that continued flight path. But when you click on it on the mobile app, it says diverted, which I found very interesting. So only reason it would divert, maybe maintenance issue, right? Or did they have somebody on board that they had to land very quickly to do something and then continue on? So that I don't know, but I just thought it was interesting. So you can see here, this is right here. Let's see if this shows the diverted flight. Now this shows Lauderdale Executive Airport over to Guantanamo Bay. There's that one, okay? But then let me get the one below it. That's the one I'm really interested in. Why is it not pulling it up? Clicking on it. You guys see this, right? All right, well, doesn't want me, but here it is right here. Okay, it does say diverted on this one. You can see right there where my mouse is going over, diverted. So it landed out here in the Bahamas, Matthewtown, Bahamas. And then somehow miraculously, at the same time, note the 631 flight, it did continue on, but it did divert originally. Then it continued on. For some reason, it's not letting me pull it up, which I find very interesting. But anyway, medical flight, if you get over here and look at the company itself, You can see this is the same kind of aircraft now. That's 531 AW, which is, you know what, anytime I see a tail number like this, I tend to just grab it and hang on to it because you never know, you know, when you start tracking aircraft, it's kind of neat to have that one in your quiver. So, you can see they do a lot of government work, all right, and medical flight services. So more than likely that is exactly what we're looking at. But I'll see if I can drill in on this and show you the inside of this aircraft. It doesn't want to do it for me today. Of course it did as soon as I popped into it, but yeah, it's air ambulance. Let me see if it'll do it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. All right, let's try one more and we'll see if it pulls in. Yeah, okay, here you go. Give you kind of an idea what the inside of this aircraft looks like, but you can see right here a little medical layout, lots of equipment. It's a pretty cool little bird. So got a couple of them. Okay, and so the question is, was it bringing somebody out that was under some medical duress, or was it picking somebody up and bringing them back because of some kind of weird virus thing going on? So you just never know, but we do see quite a bit of that going into and out of the spa. Okay, now here's the other thing too I want to point out real fast. Yesterday we were tracking some flights, and of course my screen updated on me. But we've got a P3 and a U2 that are doing routes off the East Coast, and I don't know exactly what they're doing. We have one up currently right now. It's a NASA bird. That's just that little Dash 6 Otter. You can see typically these guys are just, this is a little surveillance plane is what it is. They have a lot of cool equipment on it, and they'll run over and do some aerial surveillance and stuff. So it looks like NASA is just subcontracting out right now. That's probably their bread and butter. Since they don't really put much into space, right? So, okay. Now, this is what I wanted to point out because my map actually changed. And boy, everything is really slow today. I don't know why. But this is going to be the U2 that was up. And I want to show you, you know, little circle routes here, a little route there. But it's looking in this general area, okay? Now the P3 is also doing the same thing. That's what makes this very interesting to me, because if you get over here to the P3, same deal. The plane's flying around. Actually, the two of them are following each other in many cases. But this is what I thought was interesting, and we lost it. But it shows it take off with a destination here projected. Green line ends, and that's where it starts to do all of its flying around behind that U2, just kind of trailing each other. So. Same region, all right, but it doesn't show that on here, which is I always find interesting. So, okay, let's get over here real fast to the Sat Flare site. I just want to show you what's next to burn up and come into our atmosphere. It looks like this one's going to be a Starlink 1751. Again, the Starlinks are kind of the flavor of all of this, right? I mean, the light shows that come out of those, most of them burn up, and there's not a real big threat for anything on the ground. It's the ones that get kind of large, like International Space Station or Mir, right, or any of those others that came. Well, Space Station had to come down, but you get my point. That size, something that big that comes down is going to burn up and probably impact the Earth, whereas the others are just going to burn up because of you know, the atmosphere. So, all right, let's get back over here to the map again, real fast. Let's see where this one, so that's the one coming out of MacDill. That's actually the UK, that's a Brit C-17 heavy lift coming out of MacDill, headed back home, it looks like. These are coming inbound to our country up here, these two C-17s. And again, the Northeast is just kind of popping. And that's not trainers, that's actually just a lot of activity. Now that one right there, lawn dart, that's definitely a trainer. But everything else in here, not trainers. This congestion, that's what trainers look like, all right? These are all trainers. But get over here to Texas. That one is, that's an Egyptian Air coming inbound. Not Egyptian Air, that's actually Egyptian aircraft, sorry. That's a C-130 out of Egypt. More than likely coming in here to Fort Hood. Don't know what, I mean, we do a lot of mixed exercises, so that could be what it's coming in for. These are all trainers, again, trainers. This is Del Rio right there on the border. And lawn darts, T-38 lawn darts. If you're not familiar with those, that's they've been flying those for a long time. They do a lot of them out of Shepherd. And then these are all trainers up here. And well, that's an E-3 Sentry. just probably working congestion in the area. A couple helos out here near El Paso, Biggs Army Airfield area. And that's a tanker right on the border. And so, all right, these, it's a UAV and another UAV. So we got two UAVs, look like they are just taking off. Right here, there's Fresno here, Bakersfield here, so kind of in that general area. That one's actually just running some routes. Those are going to be unmanned surveillance, probably Q4 Global Hawks if I had to guess. With the Super Bowl coming up, you wouldn't probably be surprised if these guys end up running routes out in this area in general. So, okay, well, we're going to continue to watch it. Like I said, everything looks to be shoring up here. People are exfilling their assets out of Ukraine. We've got activity going on in the Middle East. We've got activity, looks like, prepping for some stuff in Asia. Red Horse is about to ride, it looks like. Definitely a Matthew 24 world with wars and rumors of wars. So crazy world, crazy world. So listen, you guys stay frosty out there. Definitely keep your powder dry. We'll see you here on Friday. God bless. Monkey out.
Check out the latest gear and products at monkeywerxus.com.